Hey y'all, the third and final tool holder for the French Cleat Wall is a plane tilt. I have a mix of planes, some I inherited from my grandfather and a few others I bought along the way, but I need somewhere safe to store them with easy access. I didn't have a piece of plywood wide enough for this, so I glued two together and then squared up the board. The first thing we have to do is figure out the layout. I want the middle runner to cover this seam in the plywood, but I'm going to need to create a seat for these two planes to sit in, as this is going to be mounted vertically on the wall. They both have a different butt style though here, so I had to drill out some space for my number 4 to slide into this seat. And then everything got a chamfer. I started by installing the middle runner with glue and brads, as that's the only thing with a real specific space. I then glued the bottom seat on with the other side runner temporarily in place to find the position, and then glued and tacked that runner in as well. Now I need something for the top to keep the plane from falling backwards. This isn't going to have a ton of weight on it, so I just trimmed out a holder on the bandsaw and then glued it in place. I then repeated that same process for the other plane. Now for the others, each is going to have a little different setup. For the block plane, I'm just going to make a little shelf with some pine and walnut edge banding. For the rabbit plane, I made a holder that this will slide down into by chunking out some of the walnut, then cutting and chiseling out the area for the plane to slide into once it's attached to the plywood. For the spoke shave, I cut out these two holders that will attach right here to hold this in place. Now to trim down the board on the table saw sled to the final size before installing the rest. I measured each holder to make sure they got centered in their space, and then a quick chamfer and sanding on everything before getting attached. The shelf was glued and then screwed from the backside using the holes I pre-drilled. The rabbit plane was glued and nailed on. Then the spoke shave holder was also glued and screwed on as well. I added edge banding to the plywood to improve the appearance. Then trimmed it flush and chamfered the edges with my block plane and chisel where required. The addition of a French cleat and a quick coat of poly made this project ready to be hung on the wall. Overall, I'm really happy with how this and the other two holders turned out. This is my first time having all these tools readily available, and I'm really enjoying having them at arm's reach. If you like this, be sure and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next project. Thanks.